Hi, it's Kelly, and today I want to talk about a different kind of page because I'm beginning an occasional video series on how to make a travel journal, otherwise known as an illustrated journal. And an illustrated travel journal is a way of adding some sketches and or found paper, ticket stubs, bits of menus, brochures, postcards, what have you, in a way of documenting your days, which turn into your years, which turns into your life. And that's why these are important, because it will be a precious memento for you, but also maybe for others, maybe even your grandkids. Because think about it, wouldn't it be really cool if your grandmother had left something like this so that you could see what she was doing and thinking and whatnot? Today I'm going to do a flip through of one of my travel diaries, and that's because, one, I think we could use the distraction of some armchair travel, and two, because I want you to get an idea of what pages can look like. Because I need your input. Clearly, I will be talking about supplies and how to use them, and techniques and how to fill up your pages. But because there's a lot of levels of skill out there, I need to know what you need to know. So please, in the text here, in the comments, let me know what kind of questions you have that you'd like to see answered in future tutorials. Finally, as I said, this is going to be a flip through of a travel journal, but I also want you to know that since we're not really traveling, nobody's going anywhere fast, I will also be doing stay-at-home journal tutorials, which the same idea, how to document your lockdown. But first, let's go to Switzerland, shall we? My husband teaches in Zurich, and so we went there, and while he was working, I went to the Grossmünster, which is one of their two big churches. And this was a prayer chapel. It's full of 11th century frescoes and baptistry, and I was able to light a candle and pray a bit. In the crypt of the Grossmünster is columns, and on top of the columns, these are called capitals. This is a capital, and this one has a swan, and I drew this with a green graphite pencil, which I then activated with a water brush and added some detail with pen. Over here, I am posing, as is my wont, and I printed these up when I got home. Then I added them. I didn't want to just stick them down, so I put them in asymmetrically, and then I took a water-soluble pencil and scribbled around it, and that then was activated with water, which made a kind of an old-timey look there. This is another capital. This one is of a rabbit, and he's actually eating a carrot. And I have been in a lot of cathedrals and churches, and it's the first one I've ever seen with a rabbit eating a carrot. Let's see. A couple of days later, we took the train to Dijon in France. And I have to tell you, this is a photograph of some amazing dessert. I write and talk a lot about food in my journals. One of the reasons is that I am on a diet every darn day of my life, except when I am traveling. So you're going to see a lot about food in here. Again, these are photos that I printed up when I got home. This is my friend Rob, and he's tasting the local Chablis. And this is me at a flea market in my natural habitat. Again, you can see that there's some ink, tea stains back here that I have just written and drawn into. And then I've added some borders and some boxes that make the page kind of come together. I don't know why I draw a lot of breakfasts. Don't know why. I like to add a grid from in pages because sometimes a journal can get away from you, and this way you can add just a list, a ticket stub, or just a teeny little bit of what's in front of you, and you don't have to commit to a whole page. So that's a hack. This is from one of the cathedrals in Dijon, and it is a crypt which has the remains of a 2nd century martyr. It also has a lot of stone sarcophagi that are broken open, and it's beautiful and creepy at the same time. This is another capital with a very rare early instance of a man, and he's praying. That's why his arms are thrust out like that. Dijon is famous for its food market. And I didn't have time to draw it very well because I don't draw very well, and because I was too busy at the food market. But one day I was having coffee when it was closed, and I didn't have to do the whole thing. I could just add one little fragment of the roof that I could see, and that reminds me of a lot that I want to remember. And then I added my writing. The same thing here. In Burgundy, it's wine country, and so we did a lot of driving around to chateaux and cooperatives and things, and this is what the rolling hills look like on the drive. I did it partly from the car window and partly from a postcard later for reference. But it's not really exact. This is not cartography. It's just drawing and writing. This is from a 10th century church, started in 902. And again, this is an example of how you don't have to draw or be good at drawing, because when I went to the museum, the art museum in Dijon, these were some of the tickets. I made my friend give me his, and then I just made some printing here. This is a little bit of the brochure with one of my favorite paintings. And this is a photograph of the fromagerie, the cheese shop near where I was staying. And I really spent a lot of time there, I gotta say. This is a cat mummy from 664, and that is BCE. It's a cat mummy, people. This is some old paper. I got it at a flea market. It's from the 1850s, and I like drawing on old paper, so I glued this in. And then when I went to another cathedral in Beaune, I drew, this is a Black Madonna, and she's holding the child. And it's really a beautiful piece. It's old wood. And the reason that she is black is because for centuries she was carried in festivals and whatnot and the only light they had was torchlight and candlelight. And so for centuries, this beautiful statue was pretty much kippered and now has a dark patina. Let's see. My friend takes forever to eat. So I was sitting in the cafe, a little bored, and I made this little collage out of some of the mess that was on the table, and I anchored it with a toothpick. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Escargot. These are some pink oyster mushrooms, and this is one of the cafes had a really adorable dog. He was not, however, very friendly. And this is my husband. He's wearing a fancy cap that my friend gave him as a gift, and he tore the tag out because he's kind of a nut. So I kept the tag. Let's see. And just made sort of a collage-y thing here. This kind of tile is called a burgundy roof, this pattern. And you see it a lot in burgundy. Here I've added a bulldog clip because these pages want to fall out. What I've done is I've made a pocket from a tiny bag. And inside of the pocket are things that I didn't want to glue down. The map that we used for the whole trip, so it's well worn and marked up. Postcard. And something from another, The Last Judgment, one of my favorites. So they live here in this pocket. And I'll clip them back in later. Again, you don't have to do a lot of drawing. This is just collage-y stuff. A French tea bag, because it is only a tea bag, but it's French, people. Train ticket, shopping list. And then again, some photographs, and I just added some watercolor before I did the text to give some interest to the page and pick up that yellow. So, and yes, I am at a flea market having French fries and white wine, as one does at a French flea market. These are also just free art supplies that I got from postcards and brochures at the museum. Have added a little bit of a box for some interest and to make the page hold together. And finally, we visited my friend who snuck this little fairy that she made into my suitcase for good luck, and I found it when I got home and was jet lagged, and it made me smile and happy. And then I went to North Carolina, but that is a different journal. So if you are interested in journal arts and book arts, I have an online newsletter that goes out every other week. And if you'd like to subscribe to that and get lots of fun stuff and tutorials and free downloads, you can subscribe. And the link is down below the text here. Or write me and I'll sort that out. I would be grateful if you subscribe to my channel. And like I said, I'm going to be doing stay-at-home journal tutorials as well. So stay tuned for that. And until then, happy making.